Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Once again, the whole podcast, the final episode of the season. Ben Pirro, Stephen McAvoy here. A amazing time to settle in, Ben. It's the holiday season, so whoop de whoop. I'm so enamored with the idea that we have another season literally around the corner, and I kind of love the fact that the PGA Tour doesn't really ever stop. With now the fall series being as big as it is, and now we can enjoy it. We had the PNC last week. 2 weeks ago, we had the Grant Thornton. This week was, of course, PNC and Q School final today. We're going to get into all of that. Now we get a week off for the holidays, and then we are right back into it in Hawaii. Ben, how you doing? How you feeling? Vibe heading into the last show of the year.
I'm fabulous. I'm ready to get it going. I'm ready to see what the big man in a red suit is going to leave me under the Christmas tree. You know, Santa is real, okay? Santa is real.
Santa's very real.
Yeah, just like mermaids.
You know,
that was a Hard Knocks joke. I don't know if you got that.
I got it. Listen to this shit. My little story about Santa Claus. My fiance, Kay, her mother, her daughter was told that Santa wasn't real when she was like 6. And she was told by her religious education teacher, and mom was so livid that she got the woman fired and said, if you ever fucking say this shit again, I will find you. Her daughter's heart was broken at 6 years old to find out that Santa wasn't real. And I was like, I feel so bad for this poor child. When did you come to realization?
I was just about to ask you when you came to realization. I think I was like 10 or something. I feel like I was a little older. I was very gullible.
Yeah, I was probably about 10. Actually, you know what it was? I had insomnia growing up. I was like 10, 11 years old, and literally woke up at 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom, walked past the living room, and I just see my mom sipping a beer and wrapping presents. And I go, Mom?
What a way to find out.
Fuck around and find out. She's making boozy, she's making a whole thing out of presents, boozing up. It was a good time. So, all right, let's get into the news of the week. Surprisingly enough, could you believe it? Nothing on the PGA Tour and LIVGolf. Praise the Lord. It's been like a month that we're not going to have to chat about it. We're going to talk about something a little bit sweeter and nicer.
Just so you know, that means the next time we record something, they're going to hit us with news that's twice as heavy.
Technically speaking, actually, there was news, but not significant enough for me to actually say, all right, this is worth talking about. Basically, the only bit of news that I can even bring up is the idea that they're expanding talks with Fenway Sports Group on a $3 billion portfolio. But let's be honest, that shit won't happen for another 4 fucking months, so I don't really care about it as of right now until we get a literal pen to paper like Jon Rahm going to LIV. Bernard and Jason Langer, their 3rd PNC title. It's Bernard's 5th. He calls it the 5th major. I guess when you're in your 70s and you've already won 48 times on the senior tour, I guess at this point you might as well call them majors. Claim their 3rd PNC title. Jason works in insurance, I believe. I find the whole thing about the PNC really funny because you have the really great pros, and then you have guys like John Daly II, who's a college golfer. Izzy Stricker, who's a college golfer. Charlie Woods, who's probably going to be a college golfer. Then you have Jason Langer and Cass Singh, who work in insurance and finance, and they're shooting better than anybody else out there. I think it's the funniest fucking thing to see Cass Singh shoot 4 under in his own right, and he's going to go back to his finance job and be like, oh, yeah, just play the casual round at the Ritz with my dad. I love all that shit. So Bernard and Jason claim their 3rd title. That really isn't the story. I want to really dig into this idea, and I just alluded to it. The youth movement at the PNC this week, I think, was a really significant jump from in years past. Of course, there's the guys who are always there. John Daly II, now I believe he's a sophomore or junior at Arkansas. Izzy Stricker was her first year. Cameron Kuchar has now actually come into the limelight. He actually won, I think he might have won or placed 2nd at U.S. Open local qualifying in North Carolina this year, which literally meant that he was 36 holes away from playing at LACC as a 16-year-old. Charlie Woods keeps getting better and better, as it's pretty evident that as he grows up, everything just seems to kind of hit his stride. He'll wind up, and he's already getting heavily recruited to multiple schools. We'll probably wind up seeing him go to Stanford. And then on top of that, just a bunch of other names that really stand out in terms of the youth movement and the future of the PGA and LPGA Tour. And then, of course, I should also mention Bobby Stricker, who was on the bag this week, but she played last year. She'll probably want to play next year with her dad, Steve. She is, I believe, on the Epson Tour as of right now. So already making her way up the golf ranks. Give me an idea, like, as somebody who's of course, in his mid-20s and is now fighting to get to his position on tour, to be a youth like this. And of course it helps when you have parents that are pros like Charlie, like Tiger Woods, like Annika Sorenstam, like Steve Stricker, Matt Kuchar, Vijay Singh, and the like. What kind of to see these guys play so well and to see them even at 15, 16 years old, like Charlie and Cameron Kuchar, and then even Will McGee, Annika Sorenstam's son, who was absolutely adorable the whole week. I think he's no older than like 10. Was just absolutely amazing. What's it like to know that this is part of the future of golf as we know it, and we're watching it at such a young, ripe age?
It's cool to see. I think it's a great opportunity for those kids to kind of get an opportunity to see what a tour event is like, even though it's very much like an exhibition for funsies kind of thing. I mean, these kids hitting some of the shots that we've seen on TV. I mean, there are shots from Charlie Woods' first PNC that just keep getting replayed, when he was like a foot shorter and,
Exactly.
but they hit these unbelievable shots and they make these putts. They're able to actually use those as like recall in the future, because it's like they're doing it on television in front of large crowds, in front of legends, like Annika and Tiger and John Daly and Matt Kuchar and Steve Stricker. I mean, those, VJ, like those guys and girls are legends. They're incredible. And I think it's great for the kids to kind of feel a little bit what their parents have felt. And I think it's fabulous that, they have fun with it. You can tell, Annika's son was like, I thought like the best moment of the week was when during the interview when Annika was like, yeah, my son told me, like, slow down, mom, I want to enjoy this. Like, I thought that was so cool. I thought that was so wholesome. I thought it was great. I really did. I mean, just that was almost like a tearjerker for me, because that's so cool for me.
It's fun because like this event gets easily written off as, oh, it's just an exhibition, and for the last 2 years it's kind of been the Tiger Woods show with how coming off injury and everything else. So it's kind of like it's gotten more of that shimmer because of Tiger Woods, but I think also at the end of the day people are just like, oh, it's a week off for the media. It's easy to get the videos of Nelly Korda meeting Tiger Woods that happened 2 years ago, or the cute moments of like watching these younger players play with their parents and have those embraces, or of course it's been in the past like Justin Thomas and his father, stuff like that. But again, like the youth movement in this sport, and we're seeing a very talented group. One guy who actually wasn't even in the field this week, largely because his dad plays for Liv now, but Ian Poulter's son Luke is a sophomore at Florida. He had 3 top 20s last year as a freshman. He's shot a low round of 67 at Eastlake. Pretty damn impressive. Like there are children of pros that we're watching right now that are more towards the back end of their career that are eventually going to wind up being the future of golf. And while it's great that we have guys like Colin Morikawa and Ludwig Oberg and basically insert name here, Victor Hovland and the like, we also have guys who are only 17, 16 years old on both the PGA and LPGA Tour that are going to be absolutely fantastic. And I think that's kind of the nice thing to see this in action, because it is different. And again, how many times am I going to be able to see Cameron Kuchar play outside of local qualifying that they don't even air? Hopefully we'll see them all play in US Opens and major championships eventually as amateurs. But that's to be seen if they're able to get over the hump. But you know what? If Cameron Kuchar can almost get there at 16, I think a lot of them can do some pretty damn impressive things, particularly Izzy Stricker, because the LPGA, it's known for having a lot of much younger players come in and qualify for events 16, 15 years old. I think she's a freshman at Wisconsin. She starts her first season of golf this spring. Apparently, she's like one of the best in the nation. I'm like very excited to see what she does. Could very well be on a fast track, much like Rose Zhang out of Stanford, who played only 2 years and is now in. But the real story, too, amongst all the children is, of course, as I mentioned, the story of Tiger and Charlie Woods. And I feel like it's so easy to get caught up in this, and obviously the media has, which is why I want to get into this topic. The fact that Tiger Woods has taken over every ounce of media coverage for the last 2 years at the PNC. Because last year it was a matter of, okay, he played the Open, he flopped basically at the Open, struggled at the Masters, didn't play the Hero. Can he now play here? Played a little bit, had the cart both years. This year now, it's the same story basically all over again. Hasn't played since the Open, played in the Hero, played really well for 4 rounds, but now can he do it again for another 2 days? The constant media questions, not even about his son, but it was, do you think still a tournament a month is still a thing, X, Y, and Z? But really the story has now become Charlie, because first of all, as you had mentioned, it was cute when he was beating his dad closest to the pin on par 3s when he was a foot shorter and 2 years younger. Now all of a sudden he's 15 years old. He is, I think, 5'2" right now, 5'3". He's getting up there in height.
He's that short?
I think, well, short for now. I think he'll get there. Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure it said like 5'3", 5'4" when it showed his profile.
Jeez, I was taller.
Never mind. I am completely wrong. He's almost 6 feet tall. That must have easily been a misprint from the PNC.
I was going to say his dad is tall.
That must have easily been a really bad misprint. So he's almost 6 feet tall. He's hitting the ball, I think 300 carry already. And granted, that's all his muscle getting put into it. But you had brought up a interesting point, and I watched it mostly on Sunday. Charlie's got a lot of his dad's mannerisms. I mean, you saw that from 2 years ago, but it's getting more and more developed now. And there was one moment that I saw in particular. He basically smashed a drive as hard as he could, and then he waved bye-bye to it. And I was like, it's a little egocentric to be doing at a charity event. Do we think that Charlie Woods gets overhyped because it's his father that he's with, and he's the son of the GOAT, and he has all these mannerisms, and everyone's already touting Charlie Woods to basically be like the LeBron of golf?
Are you frozen? Oh no. Okay.
No.
Okay. So I'm going to draw a parallel between golf and other sports. Okay. So when Victor Wembanyama came out in the NBA draft, everyone was saying what? He's the next LeBron James.
Yeah.
Right. And I know we're part of the media, and I will say the media drives me absolutely insane, because I think they do young athletes an incredible disservice. Because if Wembanyama does put up the numbers that LeBron James has and doesn't have the level of success, these people who write about sports but don't really know much about sports will just say that he's a failure and that he's a bust. Yeah. And so it's like he's a rookie and he's a kid, but he's got so far to go, and it's a ton of pressure. Same thing goes for Caleb Williams, the quarterback from USC. Who's his comp? Patrick Mahomes. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he's 27, 28, yeah. Right? Well, if he doesn't perform like Mahomes, if he performs I don't know, on the level of, say, a Jared Goff, he's viewed as a failure, right?
Yeah.
I think these players, although it's great, these kids, although it's great that they're getting this experience, and they're kind of learning how to deal with the media, because that is a skill. Okay. Learning how to deal with the media and the questions and the responsibilities. That's all very important. That's a real thing for athletes to have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But they place these expectations on these kids because they hype them up so much, and it's almost a disservice to them, because now these kids are just fighting an uphill battle to try what their parents achieved. And in this case, it's Charlie trying to achieve kind of what Tiger achieved. Is he going to achieve what Tiger achieved? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he, those are some insane genetics, like, honestly. But I do believe that everyone needs to just kind of chill out. He's 15. Who knows if he wants to even continue to do this in 3 years or in 7 years when he's out of college or whatever. You know, I think, does he have a great opportunity because of who his dad is? Absolutely. You know, will he have plenty of opportunities to go to great schools for golf? Absolutely. Tiger Woods is his dad. Who wouldn't want Tiger Woods to be donating to their program?
Exactly.
Come on. Like, let's not, you know, let's just call it how it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that we need to pump the brakes. This goes to all media members out there, regardless of what sport it is, regardless of who the person is. Pump the brakes on comparing someone to one of the greatest of all time or an elite talent, because you're really just putting tons of pressure on a kid.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. And I'm not saying that they're comparing him, but the hype train, you got to slow it down a little bit. You know, It's not a knock on Charlie. He's very, very talented, but he does kind of take after his dad with his mannerisms, and that is a little bit of a concern. And it's okay to get upset. It's okay if you throw a club. It's okay if you drop a club. It's okay if you maybe drop an occasional F-bomb. It happens. Everyone's human. Everyone gets frustrated. It's golf. It's an incredibly frustrating game. But like the whole like waving at your ball thing, I mean, in college, we would make fun of people that did that. Because there were kids in college that would do that. Like there was this one kid. Oh, man. I think Campbell University. No. It wasn't Campbell. I think it was Charleston Southern. And he used to say bye-bye ball if he would hit a good one. And the most hilarious thing was, like, I would just blow it past him the whole day. You are, like, just like a pompous idiot. Like, that's – you're going to be doing this to your ball, you better be hitting it past everybody for the rest of your life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
So, maybe, you know, tone down some of the things, Charlie. And maybe, like, media members, hey, slow down the hype train a little bit, you know?
Yeah, and I want
to – it's a kid.
I want to
gamble that. Like,
sorry, yeah. I want to elaborate on two things. One, to give a real life comparative to the same sport, Matthew Wolff got so much hype coming out of OK State, and everyone thought this guy was going to be that they literally tabbed. And I remember having this conversation with one of my like mentors that I had in journalism school, who both of us were huge golf fans. And I go, who do you think's more of the future of golf, Matthew Wolff, Colin Morikawa, or Victor Hovland? And he said, well, Matthew Wolff's getting all the media attention. And this was obviously before Colin had won at Harding Park. This was before Victor had really blown up. Matthew Wolff didn't do anything for 3 months. And once Colin Morikawa won the PNC, the narrative totally changed. It was all of a sudden, Colin's the guy.
The PGA.
What?
The PGA.
What'd I say?
PNC.
Sorry, the PGA. When he won the PGA at Harding Park, the narrative totally turned to Colin Morikawa as the guy. He is the future of golf. He's the face of golf. He is the player to take the torch from Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods of the 2000s, and now we're into the 2020s. Then now, obviously, it's getting a little bit skewed because Victor Hovland is in there, Charlie Scheffler's in there, but that's a whole different story. Matthew Wolff fell off the face of the earth. He took a year off golf for mental health issues because he was too drained from having all this hype around him that everyone threw on him, and he just didn't pan out. Now he plays for LIV and is now almost, I think, off his roster with Brooks Koepka, who's openly said Matthew Wolff sucks.
Yeah,
how does that make him feel? It sucks having to get all that pressure put on you and then to get absolutely thrown out. I think also with Charlie Woods that I want to elaborate on your point is he does have a lot of those Tiger mannerisms. And there's one interview snippet that I want to play with you that really kind of gave me okay, this is kind of like a dick comment. He made one comment about his dad has a hook bias when he putts. And apparently when his dad is giving him like lines, he always gives him the wrong line because he always accounts for his hook bias. And he goes, Dad, just give me better lines. First of all, if you're going to be a pro golfer one day, which I think the assumption is you will be, you should probably be doing it yourself. And if your dad's telling you these things, make adjustments because at the end of the day, you're the one who's making the putt. So don't pin it on your father who he has his own shit to worry about, not only trying to help you out. He also said this after their first round.
I mean, I drove the ball really good today. I didn't miss a fairway and still managed to shoot 8 under. So we just suck at putting. That summed up right there.
Like Tiger kind of like gave the eyes of like, did he just say that? Like it seemed like a very out of pocket comment to say, oh yeah, we just sucked at putting. It seems very like, oh, okay, laugh it off. He's 16 years old. But again, we've seen what Tiger Woods is like as a person and his manners when he gets frustrated on the golf course. And we've seen him in the interview room. Sometimes he's not afraid to let it out. That was kind of one of those moments where I can see him in 10 years having an absolute fucking meltdown over a bad putting day. And it's kind of like Rory McIlroy tearing his shirt off. Like not a very good look for a 16-year-old to be already doing that. And not to mention, again, like we're saying, to be media trained is very important. To be media trained as the GOAT's son, I think is also a very important thing and probably should have happened before he got to the golf course. Because at the end of the day, you and I both know every fucking camera on earth was on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure to be had. I think he needs to treat golf more as a profession if he's going to follow it now, especially because once you do go to college and you have an attitude and you have these things that aren't a good look for the media, you're going to get absolutely trounced. And we see it all the time with college football players, college basketball players particularly. You will get absolutely shot down by everyone. And I get it. Golf isn't as big as football and basketball is, but golf is a niche media subject. People will know about it. That's really the big takeaway here for me. And pump the brakes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. It's funny. It's funny that you say like, you know, if he goes to college with kind of like this ego, it could really be kind of like used against him. You know, that's kind of like just of what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I know that there is this kid that I went to high school with, and he was like really talented player. And I remember like he went to a great golf school. And I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say the school because it'd be pretty easy to figure it out. It's golf. I was talking to one of the coaches at the academy where I trained in high school, where I train now, and he said, with his attitude, those kids are going to just chew him up and spit him out.
Yeah,
that's what he said. He's like, they're not going to tolerate it.
And you know what? Honestly, like at that point too.
Well, and just so you know, he didn't get along with the coach, which happens. You know, don't get along with everybody. Didn't get along with the coach. Didn't do anything his first years in college. Transferred to another school. Had one good tournament. Didn't compete at all as a senior, and isn't playing golf anymore. You know, and this kid thought you would have thought this kid was like the second coming of Jesus Christ. You know, like. It's like one of those kids, you know, so you have to be, I think it's a skill to know, like, conduct yourself and how to like work with people. That's a skill, you know, not everyone's, you know, I'm not the greatest at dealing with people sometimes, but you know, hey, work at it. But I think that's something that maybe Charlie's going to have to kind of work with. He's going to have to kind of work with like what to say, how to choose his words. And look, it's better he learn it now than when he's 23, right?
Yeah.
Or when he's 20. You know, he's 15. You know, he has time to learn it, but he's got to learn it.
Yeah. Well, the issue is too is that he's in his formidable years. This is where you're everything kind of forms out and takes shape to the kind of person that you want to be. I don't think anybody wants to be the guy who, particularly, let's just say hypothetically, Charlie goes to Stanford, right? You don't want to be the asshole on the golf team who thinks that you are the bee's fucking knees. And I get it. Cool. You play in California and you're winning a high school state title, and you can be like, oh, well, my dad never won one of those. Yeah, you're probably the best person in the state of California. Wait till you go to college and you're playing against the best kids in the world. Very different reality. Pearson Coody, who went to Texas, said when he got to college, he was the number one player in Texas. He went to the University of Texas. He said, I wasn't even the best player in the Big 12, let alone the fucking NCAA. Like, the idea that Charlie Woods can carry an attitude like this and all of a sudden be this player that he thinks he wants to be, I don't think it's possible. I think he's going to really find a hard time. He's going to hit the wall at some point, and he won't be the best player out in the field. He will, in fact, have a lot of trouble. I think it's something that we're going to look at. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we're going to jump right on in to a little bit of news on the NBC analyst role. It's been abdicated by Paul Azinger, and of course, we have Q School final this week. Ended on Monday. We'll chat all about the guys who are in, who's out, and who is keeping their PGA Tour card for another year. We'll be right back on the other side of the Get in the Hole podcast.
Get in the Hole is brought to you by PHI Apparel Company, our incredible merch partners. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing, from t-shirts to hoodies for every golfer around. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out on the course, the driving range, or at the 19th hole. Go to phiapparel.co and use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off any order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co and grab exclusive Get in the Hole podcast merch and support your favorite golfers.
Welcome back in to Get in the Hole here. Ben and Steve, the final episode of the season. A little bit of a shakeup in the NBC studio booth. Kevin Kisner, while he did not get his PGA Tour card back, I guess we know why. He is officially the NBC analyst for the Century and the Waste Management Phoenix Open in February. A shift away from Paul Azinger to now Kevin Kisner. Interesting. I feel like he won't have a filter. I'm very interested in seeing how this goes. Ben, what do you think of Kiz jumping into the booth?
Well, just to be clear, he's not done competing. He's just not playing in those elevated events. So he's going to continue playing. He's not retiring or anything. I think, didn't Wesley Bryan this year call the PGA? He did on-course reporting for the PGA Championship.
Yeah, he did on-course stuff.
Guys like that, Wesley, Kiz, guys with really funny personalities. Kisner has such a. I remember he was at the Masters, and I guess he wasn't driving it well, and he was just he's I hit it perfect every time in the range, and I just kind of push cut one into the right bunker on one, and I just get pissed off again. He's just he's really or he hit a shot. He's well, yeah, that's why I got my name on my bag. He's just a really funny guy, but he's also very knowledgeable, and he's played at every level. I mean, he was not one of those guys that just burst onto the scene out of college. He had to work at it, right? So he understands kind of what it takes, and I think he's awesome. I think he's one of my favorite guys to just listen to because he's so entertaining. And I also love his golf game. I think he has one of the more underrated swings on tour as well. I'm excited. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be very entertaining.
Yeah, no, like you said, Kisner has so much experience as a player for his whole career. He played, I think he graduated in 2006 from the University of Georgia, played alongside Chris Kirk and Brendan Todd. All of them were really kind of late bloomers into the sport too. He turned pro. He was on mini tours. He was on the nationwide tour. I think he didn't get his PGA Tour card until 2011, so spent 6 years trying to get to where he had to be. He didn't earn enough money to retain his card. He wound up having to go to Q School, which again, we'll talk all about those guys who are in the same kind of a boat. In 2011 to requalify, he wound up on the web.com tour. I think he got back in after a really good stint back in 2014. And ever since then, he's been a household staple. And as Kiz famously said, you make a lot of damn money coming in 20th place. So, like, Kevin Kisner's never been the sexiest player on earth, but I love his demeanor. I love the way he approaches the game, and I think that's what's going to really be a cool thing in the booth. Yeah, he's not going to retire all that much yet, but I think this is the start of transition for him. He didn't qualify through the fall season to get status on the PGA Tour, but he will, of course, have plenty of exemptions throughout the year. He is 39. He is not necessarily the oldest person in the world, despite what he might look like. Because for some reason, between him and Brendan Todd, I always think they're in their like mid 40s.
I didn't even realize Kisner was 39. I thought he would.
Bro, they both seem old as fuck, and I'm like, what?
I
think look at like Justin Rose, and he's like, he's like 43. What?
Yeah. Well,
so. Yeah. But yeah, so this might be the transition for Kevin Kisner. I really do think he'll make a great analyst in this sport. I think between him, unfortunately, despite my wishing of getting more Nick Faldo airtime, that's not going to happen. But between Kevin Kisner and Smiley Kaufman, who I think is America's sweetheart that we don't appreciate enough, they're going to make a really great booth for NBC. We're going to have a lot of really good talent coming through. And then also on CBS, of course, there's going to be some talent as well, some new guys coming into the fold with Tarico. So I'm looking forward to what's to come out of NBC, particularly with Kiz, and hopefully the century goes off of that hitch. We'll hopefully get some good sound bites from the Kiz man. All right, Ben, final topic of the week in the final show of the year, a little abridged, not a lot of news, thankfully, because there's no live news. The Q School final, how appropriate is it that Q School, you play Thursday, you play Friday, you play Saturday, rain out on Sunday, and just like the majority of these guys, their entire career so far, having a Monday Q for everything, having to go through Q School on a Monday due to rain, something about an off day on Sunday just sounds really, really, really nice. And I hope we can get Mickey in to talk more about it as he played through this week. Unfortunately, didn't get into that top 5, but he will be on the KFT this year. We'll hopefully follow along a lot with him. Of course, show alumni Mickey DeMora. You can check out that episode from a couple weeks ago. Really great interview as we talked to him about his whole career, the rollback, his uncle Daniel Tosh, and then of course his journey through Q School. But 5 guys earned PGA Tour status this year. A lot of them with some really fascinating stories. And like, you want to talk about like, how can you not be romantic about sports? A lot of the guys who earn their cards really like personify the idea of being romantic about sport. But a really talented cast of people. A lot of guys qualify for the Korn Ferry Tour, of course. Everybody in the field did qualify for the KFT. Let's break down some names, some thoughts, guys who you are impressed with, guys who you thought should have gotten there but just didn't play well enough. I want to just point out first the guys who did earn their cards. Harrison Endicott, he regained full status. He earned conditional status through the FedEx Fall, but with the win this week, he in fact gets a full-time PGA Tour card. Trace Crow, Blaine Hale Jr., fascinating part about him, he has only made one career start on the Korn Ferry Tour and had never played an event in Florida until this week, and then comes out and finishes 3rd. Raul Pareda, I didn't even think about this, and I didn't realize it. Because of all of the Mexican players who hailed to LIVGolf, he's now the only Mexican player on the PGA Tour. Well, the only Mexican descent player on the PGA Tour. He had only played he was the only player throughout Q School in the final with no Korn Ferry Tour or PGA Tour status going in. So he literally earned it from scratch, unlike everybody else who had some sort of experience or status already. And then Hayden Springer, probably the best story of the bunch. For those of you who don't know, Hayden unfortunately lost his daughter at only 3 years old last month due to a very rare disease for children, and comes in, shoots an incredible 69 on the final day to earn his card. A really heartfelt story. Tears were flowing. When I first read about it, I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely crazy. So those are your 5 players to earn PGA Tour status. We will hopefully be following them throughout the year. And then, of course, the guys who missed out. Ben, I want to lead it. And when you hear I've been tangenting, give me some names of guys that you were surprised didn't get there. PGA Tour cards. There are some guys who will maintain conditional status through the FedEx Fall, but some guys who made the Corn Ferry Tour but will not be seen much on the PGA Tour this year.
The big thing is, it's I don't want to say that it's surprising to see guys like not get their card, because at the end of the day, it's like it's 5 guys out of.
Yeah, it's incredibly hard.
Let me just look. I have the leaderboard here pulled up. I was looking for something and I couldn't find it. I mean, it's 5 guys. I mean, how many? Oh my God, how many guys withdrew? I mean, easily over 150. Right?
Yeah, easily.
So, you know, I think that. So that being said, it's not at all like surprising that a guy doesn't get their tour card, but you know, you definitely feel for guys who are younger and like really want to prove themselves. Like, I mean, obviously, I really, you know, I feel for Mickey, you know, and honestly, it was just like a 1 over 2 over 1 over 1 under. You know, it's not like he had a 76 that shot him out of it. You know, and you know, I talked to him last night briefly, and you know, he seemed in really good spirits. He seemed very positive, and that's the attitude you have to have. I mean, I feel for Mickey, I really do, because I really just how he's played, you know, this whole year. I mean, guy shot 59, you know, like. In a tournament, I get it's a moonlight, but it's still a tournament. You know, the guy's played in PGA Tour events. He's played on the Corn Ferry Tour. You know, other guys like, you know, Wesley Bryan, he's a former tour winner. I think Wesley, this is just my opinion. Who knows? Maybe he might think I'm an idiot for saying this, but I think Wesley probably should go back to Mike Bender. Which is, no, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding. You know, Wesley has never been the most physically gifted guy. I think he'd probably be the first to tell you that. He's not very big at all.
Yeah, he's small.
He's a tiny guy, and he never hit it the furthest. And you know, I know he was working with some guy to like Scottsdale. I remember George, his brother, posted a video of his lesson and stuff in one of their YouTube episodes. And I was listening to what the guy was telling him. And look, I'm not a swing coach, right? I'm not. I'm a golfer, not a swing coach. But I didn't really agree with the stuff that the guy was saying, you know? And, you know, I get it. Sometimes it works for some guys, it works for other guys. And I remember like there was a video that the PGA Tour posted of Wesley's swing on their Instagram. And it was just so steep with a driver, you know. And for those of you out there, the best ball strikers historically are very shallow. They planes and paths. You know, they shallow the club at the downswing nicely. He is so steep, and he was already never really a good driver of the golf ball, and he kind of went after the distance aspect of it. I mean, he hits a lot of balls out of play, and I think it's really difficult to play under serious pressure when your swing is so reliant on timing. Every swing in golf is reliant on timing to some degree, for sure. But when you're that steep and it's windy, wait, okay, I'm back. When it's windy and when it's cold and when there's a ton of pressure, you need to just really, you need to have a really sound swing, or at least you have to know.
Benjamin, is you there? I know I hear you. Oh boy, Ben is really having a Wi-Fi day. Yeah, no, as Ben's alluding to, you really need to round your game out and have a strong game all around. And when you're that steep, you're obviously following a very particular part of the game, which doesn't necessarily help you very much. And I mean, it's different when you're a Bryson DeChambeau and you can hit it all over the course and not have to worry about going far left or far right. because you're just so strong. He simply doesn't have the size to be able to qualify for that. But shifting away a little bit in terms of Mickey, honestly, really did play well today. Shot a final round 69, his first in the 60s. Shot 72, 71, 72, 69, 4 over. Finished tied with Sam Bennett. You very much know who he is. Aldrich Potgeier, who's one of the top players from South Africa, coming up the ranks. Wesley Bryan also finished 4 over. He beat out guys James Nicholas, who's been well known on the KFT, Hank Labiota, Robert Streb. So some pretty good names also down this leaderboard. It isn't like it's the top of the top and then everybody else. But some names who a little bit not necessarily surprised to be losing their cards, but certainly notable names: Harry Higgs, Kramer Hickok, Patton Kiesire. They've all maintained conditional status, but they all failed to finish in the top 5. Beginning on the KFT, as I had mentioned, Bennett, Potgeier, Bryan, Nicholas, Mickey will be on there. Fred Biondi from Brazil will be in the group. Bryce Garnett, and honestly, a large cast of characters of guys who are going to be on the KFT. We'll be able to get some exemptions into some other bigger events, but at the end of the day, just simply didn't have enough to win. And not for nothing, too. Like, to give a guy like Harrison Endicott a lot of credit, you're playing 4 rounds at Dyes Valley and Sawgrass. These are challenging courses to have to fight through and battle through in order to basically have the most pressure of your life to try and either retain a card or earn your PGA Tour card. And honestly, the idea that you can get that card and you can jump over the Korn Ferry Tour is really impressive. And it's a challenging thing to do. The fact that, and it even shows, while Endicott won by 4 strokes, the next 2 best scores were 11 under, 9 under, and 8 under the card. Satoshi Kodaira finished 7 under, Doc Redman 6 under, Kramer Hickok 5 under. Like, these are like some really good scores that guys had, and not for nothing, like Doc Redman goes bookend 66s with a in between the hash mark 71s. Like, those are some really good rounds for Sawgrass. We see guys, the players only hope they could do that. So the fact that the field was this loaded this year in particular, there was a lot of different good things going on, and weather, of course, played a factor. Late Saturday, Sunday was a total rain out due to the storm. Monday start, they weren't even on time, particularly with the start. They wanted to start at 8:45. That got pushed to even later. They only finished the round about 4 hours ago. So, recording locally on a Monday. So the fact that it was that much of a challenge for them to get through all this is certainly a story in and of itself. As we wait for Ben to get back in, hopefully, if he ever does, we will see. I want to just take this moment to reflect a little bit on this past year, as this is the final show of the year. I want to give a huge shout out to Underground Sports Philadelphia, as always. My 3rd year on this program, welcoming back Ben. We started the year off with Jake. I want to give him a shout out as he passed his bar recently. He's now a full-time lawyer down in the Carolinas. I want to give him a ton of credit for helping keep the show afloat. To be honest with you all, I was kind of on the edge with giving up after going through 3 hosts in less than 3 years. But Ben finally came back in the fold after leaving to mow Mike Bender's lawn. He finally wanted to get back up on the seat as he pursued Q School. Came back in, was absolutely fantastic. He's been fantastic to this day. Holding not only myself, but this show to a higher echelon and a higher floor, which really makes this show a lot better. We've been working on new things, new improvements. We've really been trying to hone in on how to make this show even better than it already is. And we've discussed a lot of different things. We've brought on Alex Giles, Mickey DeMorat. I have another big interview that'll hopefully be released soon. It's a lot of big names are going to be on the show. A lot of things are going to be going. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter every single day. Be sure to follow us at Getting the Whole Pod across the board. Follow Underground Sports Philadelphia. Subscribe on YouTube. Really, it's the biggest thing. We have a gauntlet challenge now that if you listen to the main pod show that this past week, I got on the phone with KB. If we hit 1,000 followers by the Stadium Series in mid-February, we're going to do a live show out there in the freezing cold of MetLife Stadium for the Devils and Flyers game. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be hanging out with the Joe Bros. It's going to be awesome. So please, guys, follow us on our journey as we continue to try and make this show the absolute best it can be. If you're listening for the first time, this show is a lot more than just your typical run-of-the-mill golf show. We go through news, course analysis. We talk to players. We talk to pros. We give you the pros' opinion from Ben's mouth. Somebody who's been across the country, played a lot of big-time events, is fighting his way to Q School, and hopefully will get on the Korn Ferry Tour next year once he goes through qualifying. This show's really been my baby for the last 3 years, and I really hope that you guys enjoy getting to listen to us and getting to see what it's like on the week-to-week being able to do a show like this. Ben, welcome back. I apologize for the
Did you hear anything that I was saying? I'm on my phone now. I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired of this stupid internet. I'm not even using the Wi-Fi on my phone. I had to get off the Wi-Fi.
You look good.
Thanks.
We should have just been doing this.
Probably, actually.
God damn it.
Wait,
I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Okay. What was the last thing you heard?
Well, I took your words and I extrapolated it a little bit, and I was just doing the sign off for the show, assuming that you were going to be gone. So I apologize.
You're fine. Look, here's the deal. Wesley Bryan needs to get back to working with Mike Bender. His swing is too steep. When you encounter conditions like what you encounter in the high-pressure situations, difficult golf course, wind, rain, water everywhere, high pressure, it's Q School, final day, you got to have a swing that you know what's kind of going on and why things happen, okay? And when you're really steep like that, it really creates the need to have really good timing. And yes, there's an element to timing in every single golf swing, but your timing has to be so good when you're that steep. And he won the PGA Tour working with Mike Bender. That's his only PGA Tour win. He received an automatic promotion to the PGA Tour after winning 3 Korn Ferry events. Back then it was the Web.com Tour. But that's when he was working with Mike. And ever since he left, it's been a steady decline. And I really think he needs to go back to working with Bender, because right now, what he's doing in his swing isn't working. That's what I think.
Thank you for that, Ben.
No problem.
You know, KB actually made a joke to me. He was like, I cannot wait for the day that Ben's Wi-Fi times out and he's forced to go on his phone, and he gets super anal about the fact that his dimensions only show the box to be like this big when there's the black sidings next to him. I don't know if you can see that right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Oh yeah. I like KB is probably, he's going to laugh his ass off in post when he sees this, because you were probably so anal about it.
No, I don't care at all. I'm still over it.
All right. Well, we'll make do. Before you had come back, I was giving the rundown about just kind of a recap of the year and saying just how happy that I am to be able to have you back in the seat. We started the year off with Jake. Credit to him again. Got his past the bar. He's now a full-time lawyer in North Carolina. Has fully left the game of golf, but I still hold him proud to my heart to be able to have him for about 4 months on the show after you had left, after a tumultuous few weeks trying to figure out who the hell is going to host the show with me. And then, of course, you came back after a short stint of mowing Mike Bender's lawn, which is always the funniest thing to me, to be able to joke about that. But you came back with grace. You looked amazing. You still are amazing. Take the shirt off for the crowd. Everybody wants to see it, particularly the ladies. But yeah, no, it's been a great 3 years doing this show now, where I'm 3 full seasons of golf in, and it's almost it's crazy to think that this has been my passion project. And I said that there's a lot of things up the pike. I said I appreciate you for holding not only myself but the show to a higher standard, and the hope that it can be a top show in golf. We don't give you the typical news of the week. We give you the news, the course analysis, but also we give you the pros perspective, which I think is a really important and valuable piece to all of this. And while you and I bicker and give each other a lot of shit, I think this show is really amazing. And with the plethora of guests that we're going to hopefully have on, of course, we've already had on Mickey, had on Alex Giles, is going to have a great season this year, coaching at the D3 level. And then, of course, a big interview. What?
Junior college.
Sorry, junior college. My apologies.
Idiot.
I am an idiot. Your voice quality on your phone is so fucking bad. Are you cupping the audio?
No, my phone just sucks. I need a new phone.
What do you have? The XR or like the 9?
The 11.
Oh, all right. So your phone doesn't have a button, right?
I guess I don't know.
It doesn't have a button like in the bottom.
No.
All right, good. So you aren't a total heathen. But yeah, no, it's been a great 3 years. Of course, if this is the first time for you watching, the show gives a lot of different elements that I think really make it valuable. 2024 is going to be a great year. We're going to have a lot of new things up the pike. As I had said earlier, subscribe to all of our channels, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're on it every single day. Of course, follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. Subscribe to them on YouTube. Ben, yesterday on the main pod, I actually got a phone call from KB while I was in bed. And he goes, "Hey, like, what are you doing right now?" And I go, "Well, I'm in bed." He goes, "Gauntlet challenge. If we hit 1,000 subscribers by February 15th, I believe it is, the Stadium Series in the NHL is going to feature not only my Rangers and against the Islanders, but it's going to also have a night before the Devils and the Flyers, featuring a pregame Jonas Brothers concert. If we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, we will do a live show in the parking lot of MetLife for the Devils Flyers game. So definitely subscribe to the channel. Get us to 1,000 followers. Watch me get hammered as fuck, pounding Kenwood beers in the parking lot of MetLife. I will probably jump through a table if it happens. So let's make it happen. But Ben, thank you for another great year. Cheers to 2024. Hope a lot of really good things to come.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I know my sound quality sucks, so I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Let's get it to 1,000 subscribers so we can go to MetLife Stadium. Maybe Steve can do a handstand. Maybe I'll get so drunk I twerk. You never know what's going to happen with the two of us. Now, with that being said, it's been a great, really.
Just don't twerk on me.
What?
Just don't twerk on me.
Why would I do that?
I have a feeling you drunk, you get a little handsy.
No, okay, you're no, no. I'm not a creep at all. And I'm
never.
also,
look, hey,
also,
you and I are very familiar. I feel like that
also,
wouldn't be creepy.
Shut up. And also, I like girls. Okay, you're not my type.
You're not you when you're drunk. Snickers satisfies.
Shut up. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. That's Stephen McAvoy. My name is Ben Pirro, your favorite and most handsome co-host of all time. See you guys later. Thanks for an awesome year. See you in 2024.
One of us has nice biceps. One of us is a pro golfer. Who's who? Make this for yourself. Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GetInTheHolePod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time. And remember, get in the hole!